Introduction life, in all its complexity and depth, can often feel like a movie playing out before our eyes. Every day seems like a new scene, filled with action, emotion, and events that come and go. At times, we are the protagonists, other times mere extras, and occasionally we find ourselves spectators caught in the emotional currents of the story. The characters in this movie, our thoughts, feelings, and actions, seem to create a narrative that defines us, and yet there is a deeper truth that we may overlook. What if we are not the characters at all, but the silent observer, witnessing the unfolding drama from a place of stillness? In this essay, we will explore the idea that life is akin to a movie in which we often forget our true nature. While the mind and ego play the leading roles, the true self, the silent observer, remains unchanged and separate from the chaotic unfolding of experiences. By recognizing this truth and detaching from the surface-level storylines of our lives, we can uncover a deeper, more profound sense of peace and freedom. We will delve into how we can recognize the true self as the observer behind the scenes and how living from this awareness can transform our experience of life. The movie of life metaphor. The metaphor of life as a movie is not new. Many spiritual traditions and philosophers have used this analogy to describe the nature of existence. Just as a movie is composed of various scenes, characters, and narratives, so too is life, an unfolding story made up of experiences, actions, and emotions. Life presents itself in a dynamic flow, filled with moments of joy, sorrow, conflict, and resolution. And just as in a movie, we often find ourselves absorbed in the plot, caught up in the drama of our lives. However, if we look more closely, we may begin to see that life is not only a story we experience, but also a story we witness. Like a spectator in a theater, we are capable of observing the events of our lives without becoming entangled in them. In the metaphorical movie of life, the characters, the mind, body, and ego, are constantly acting out their roles. They are not static but dynamic, changing from scene to scene. But there is something deeper and unchanging within us, the true self, the silent observer, that remains unaffected by the fluctuating emotions and events. The true self is not a part of the drama, it is the awareness that allows the drama to unfold. It is the silent director of the movie, watching from the shadows, witnessing the play without being caught up in it. When we recognize that we are not the characters we play, the roles we identify with, or the thoughts that constantly bombard our minds, we begin to perceive life from a higher perspective. We are the witness, not the actor. The role of the mind and ego. The mind and ego are integral parts of the human experience. The mind, with its constant stream of thoughts, judgments, and perceptions, is the narrative engine of our existence. It creates stories about the world and ourselves, filtering every experience through the lens of past conditioning. The ego, the sense of self that arises from these mental stories, plays a central role in shaping our identity. It defines who we think we are based on the roles we take on, the successes we achieve, and the failures we experience. For many of us, the ego becomes the primary lens through which we view the world. We become attached to the thoughts we think and the emotions we feel, believing them to be the essence of who we are. We identify with the roles we play, whether as a parent, a worker, or a friend, and we believe that these identities define our worth. The mind tells us a story, and we take it as truth. We forget that we are not the story, we are the one who witnesses it. In this way, the mind and ego serve as characters in the movie of life, constructing and interpreting the narrative. But just as an actor is not the character they play, we are not the roles the ego assigns us. The true self remains beyond the grasp of the mind and ego, watching as they unfold their stories. The mind creates thoughts, the ego creates identity, but neither is who we truly are. When we identify with these mental constructs, we lose sight of the silent observer within us. The true self, the silent observer. At the core of our being lies the true self, which is not a character or a role but the very essence of awareness. This true self is the silent observer of life, the consciousness that witnesses all experiences without becoming entangled in them. Unlike the mind, which constantly churns out thoughts and judgments, or the ego, which identifies with external roles and accomplishments, the true self is pure awareness, unchanged and unaffected by the flow of life. The true self is often referred to as the silent observer, because it does not engage with the drama of life. It is the stillness that allows the mind to think, the body to act, and the emotions to arise. It is the unchanging presence behind all change, the eternal witness to the fleeting moments of our existence. While the movie of life is in constant motion, the true self remains constant, witnessing the unfolding of events with detachment and clarity. Recognizing the true self requires a shift in perception. We must learn to step back from the characters and roles we play and turn our attention to the awareness that underlies all experience. This awareness is not separate from us. It is our true nature. It is the I that exists before thought and beyond identity. When we can tune into this silent observer, we begin to see that we are not the story of our lives, but the one who watches it unfold. The illusion of attachment. One of the primary reasons we get caught up in the movie of life is attachment. We become attached to the roles we play, the emotions we feel, and the stories we tell ourselves. The mind convinces us that our identities are real and that we must protect and preserve them at all costs. We identify with our thoughts, our bodies, and our past experiences, believing that they define who we are. But this attachment to the movie creates suffering. Attachment leads to suffering because it creates a false sense of security. We believe that we are the characters in the story, and we fight to preserve our roles and identities. When things change, when we experience loss, failure, or change in our circumstances, we feel threatened and anxious. Our attachment to the roles we play creates fear, confusion, and pain. We forget that the roles we play are temporary, they are just scenes in the movie of life. The true self, however, is not attached to any of these roles. It is beyond the ups and downs of life, free from the need to define itself through external circumstances. When we let go of attachment to the story, we begin to experience the peace and freedom of the silent observer. We no longer react to life's drama with fear and anxiety, but observe it with equanimity and clarity. Awakening to the silent observer, awakening to the true self, requires us to cultivate awareness and stillness. The mind is often noisy, filled with thoughts, judgments, and distractions that prevent us from seeing our true nature. Through practices such as meditation, mindfulness, and self-inquiry, we can begin to quiet the mind and tune into the silent observer within. Meditation is one of the most effective tools for accessing the true self. By sitting in stillness and focusing on the breath or a mantra, we can calm the fluctuations of the mind and become aware of the presence that underlies all experience. As we practice meditation, we begin to recognize that we are not the thoughts that arise in our minds, but the awareness that witnesses them. In this space of stillness, we connect with the true self, the silent observer that has always been present but often overlooked. Self-inquiry, or the practice of asking, "Who am I?" is another way to awaken to the true self. By turning inward and questioning our identity, we begin to peel away the layers of ego and thought that obscure our true nature. Through this process, we come to realize that we are not the roles we play or the thoughts we think, but the awareness that watches everything arise and pass away. Living as the silent observer, living as the silent observer does not mean withdrawing from life or becoming detached from the world around us. Rather, it means engaging with life from a place of deep awareness and non-attachment. When we identify with the true self, we no longer react to life's challenges with fear, anger, or frustration. Instead, we respond with clarity, compassion, and wisdom. Living as the silent observer allows us to experience life more fully. We can enjoy the highs and accept the lows without becoming consumed by them. We can engage with the world without losing ourselves in it. The observer is not a passive witness, but an active participant in the unfolding drama, observing it with the wisdom and perspective of one who knows that all things are temporary. The benefits of awakening to the true self. The benefits of awakening to the true self are profound. First and foremost, we experience inner peace. When we recognize that we are not the characters in the movie of life, but the awareness that witnesses it, we no longer identify with the fluctuations of the mind and emotions. This detachment brings a sense of calm and equanimity, regardless of external circumstances. Living as the true self also frees us from unnecessary suffering. Attachment to the ego and the stories we tell ourselves is the root of much of our pain. When we let go of these attachments, we experience freedom from the cycles of desire and dissatisfaction that perpetuate suffering. By witnessing life without becoming entangled in it, we can cultivate a sense of acceptance and surrender, which leads to a deeper understanding of the transient nature of all things. Additionally, recognizing the true self allows us to deepen our relationships with others. When we no longer view others through the lens of our ego, our judgments, preferences, and projections, we can see them as they truly are, other expressions of the same universal consciousness. This recognition fosters compassion, empathy, and understanding, as we cease to view others as separate from ourselves. Instead, we understand that we are all connected through the same underlying presence, which transcends the roles we play in the world. Awakening to the silent observer also enhances our creativity and problem-solving abilities. When we disengage from the mind's constant chatter, we open ourselves to intuitive insights and spontaneous solutions. The silence of the observer allows space for creative ideas to emerge, unhindered by mental constraints. We begin to act from a place of clarity and purpose, rather than reacting impulsively to external circumstances. The challenges of awakening to the true self. Although the benefits of living as the silent observer are immense, the path to awakening is not without its challenges. Our identification with the mind and ego is deeply ingrained, and it can be difficult to break free from these attachments. The mind constantly pulls us back into the drama of life, tempting us to identify with our thoughts, emotions, and external circumstances. Furthermore, society often encourages us to attach to our roles and identities. We are taught to value success, achievement, and material possessions, which can reinforce the ego's hold on us. Letting go of these attachments may initially feel unsettling or even frightening, as it challenges the sense of security and identity that the ego provides. Additionally, the practice of detaching from the mind's narrative and embodying the silent observer can be difficult in the midst of everyday life. The distractions of modern life, work, relationships, social media, and the constant bombardment of information can make it hard to find stillness and clarity. In such an environment, it can be challenging to cultivate the awareness necessary to awaken to the true self. However, these challenges are not insurmountable. Through consistent practice, patience, and self-compassion, we can gradually dissolve the identification with the ego and step into the awareness of the silent observer. Meditation, mindfulness, and self-inquiry are all tools that can help us navigate these challenges and awaken to our true nature. It is important to remember that awakening is not an instant transformation, but a gradual process of shedding layers of illusion and returning to the essence of who we truly are. Conclusion. Returning to the silence of the observer. In conclusion, life is often perceived as a movie, a dynamic and ever-changing sequence of events, emotions, and experiences. We may become so engrossed in the narrative that we forget the deeper truth. We are not the characters in the story, but the silent observer witnessing the unfolding drama. The mind and ego create a sense of identity and attach us to the roles we play, but the true self remains beyond these illusions, still and unchanged. When we recognize the true self as the silent observer, we step into a space of profound peace, clarity, and freedom. We begin to experience life from a higher perspective, free from the grip of attachment and identification with the ever-changing story. Living as the observer does not mean disengaging from life. Rather, it means participating in life with detachment, wisdom, and compassion. We can engage fully in the world while remaining grounded in the stillness of our true nature. Awakening to the silent observer is a journey, a process of peeling away the layers of ego and conditioning to uncover the essence of who we are. This path requires patience, mindfulness, and a willingness to let go of the identities we have built up over time. As we cultivate awareness and embrace our true nature, we experience a deeper connection to ourselves, others, and the universe. Ultimately, by recognizing ourselves as the silent observer, we can transcend the limitations of the movie of life and discover the freedom, peace, and joy that lie beyond the story. We are not the roles we play, the thoughts we think, or the emotions we feel. We are the awareness that witnesses it all, the silent observer that has always been there, waiting to be recognized. When we awaken to this truth, we begin to live in alignment with our highest self, transcending the drama and finding peace in the quiet presence of the observer within. This essay explores the idea that we are the silent observer, rather than the characters or roles we identify within the movie of life. By recognizing this deeper truth, we can free ourselves from attachment, experience life from a place of stillness, and ultimately awaken to our true nature. Hello, everyone. I'm so glad you're here. I created this channel to explore deeper topics like surrender, awareness, and spiritual growth, and I love sharing these insights with you all. If you've been finding value in these videos and feel drawn to go even deeper on this journey, I've created a Patreon community just for that purpose. On Patreon, I offer exclusive content, insights, and personalized guidance for those looking to dive into the core of surrender and awareness. From in-depth teachings to practical exercises, my goal is to create a space where we can connect more personally, explore spiritual practices together, and support each other's growth. So, if you're ready to join me on this path and support the work, head over to my Patreon. I'd love for you to be part of the community. Thank you for watching, and as always, thank you for your support. https://patreon.com/lifecoachspiritual727. Introduction. Life, in all